The luxury penthouse office of Pure Radiance Cosmetics felt more like a battleground than a boardroom. My mother-in-law, Catherine Wellington, sat at the head of the table in her signature Chanel suit, while her daughter Amanda perched beside her, both wearing identical expressions of smug superiority. The shareholders filled the remaining seats, watching the drama unfold like spectators at a gladiatorial match. My name is Dr. Rachel Kim, and this is the story of how my own revolutionary skincare formula became the weapon my mother-in-law tried to use to destroy me, and how her plan backfired spectacularly. As I was saying, Catherine continued, her perfectly manicured hand gesturing to the presentation screen. Pure Radiance needs to evolve. My daughter Amanda's new luxury skincare line, Wellington Beauty, will modernize our image and replace our existing products. By existing products, she meant my award-winning natural skincare line that had transformed Pure Radiance from a struggling local brand into a $50 million company. The same products that had earned me a feature in Forbes 30 Under 30 just last year. The market research is clear, Amanda chimed in, flipping her expertly highlighted hair. Consumers want luxury, exclusivity, dramatic results, not boring natural ingredients. I kept my expression neutral, thinking about the stack of FDA test results sitting in my private lab. Results that would turn their world upside down in exactly 6 days. 5 years ago, I joined Pure Radiance fresh from completing my PhD in biochemistry. My husband Michael, Catherine's son, had convinced his mother to give me a chance in their struggling research department. At the time, Pure Radiance was losing market share to newer, trendier brands. Just give her 6 months, Michael had pleaded. Her research in natural bioactive compounds is revolutionary. Catherine had agreed, though I later learned it was only because the company was weeks away from bankruptcy. She'd assumed I would fail, giving her an excuse to sell to a larger corporation. Instead, I developed something extraordinary. Working late nights in the lab, I created a formula using a unique combination of botanicals that could penetrate the skin's deeper layers, stimulating natural collagen production and cell renewal. The results were better than anything on the market, without the harsh chemicals other brands relied on. "Your 6 months are up," Catherine had said back then, walking into my lab one evening. "Show me what you've wasted our money on." I'd shown her the before and after photos from our preliminary trials. The reduction in wrinkles, the improved skin texture, the natural glow. Her eyes had widened, and for a moment, I'd seen past her polished facade to the shrewd businesswoman beneath. "How soon can we launch?" The next 2 years were a whirlwind. My natural skincare line, Pure Science, became Pure Radiance's flagship brand. Sales exploded. Our waitlist grew to months. Vogue called it the future of skincare. But success, I discovered, can make family dynamics very complicated. Catherine had tolerated me when I was just her son's wife with a cute little research project. But as Pure Science grew, as my name began appearing in beauty magazines and industry awards, something changed. Enter Amanda, my sister-in-law, returning from 5 years in Europe with sudden aspirations to join the family business. Despite having no scientific background or product development experience, she was immediately appointed as creative director. "We need to appeal to luxury consumers," she'd announce in meetings, dismissing years of market research. "Natural skincare is just a trend. We need something more exclusive." I'd watch quietly as she hired outside formulators, developed her miracle products, and positioned herself as the new face of Pure Radiance. Catherine supported every move, gradually pushing me out of decisions about my own product line. The whispers started small, questions about my research methods, suggestions that my formulas were outdated, meetings scheduled when I was teaching my guest lectures at the university. "It's just business," Michael would say, trying to keep peace in the family. Mom's always been competitive. But I knew it was more than that. I'd seen the rushed product development, the skipped safety trials, the ingredients being substituted to cut costs. I documented everything, waiting for the right moment. Then 3 months ago, I noticed something in Amanda's new formula that set off every scientific alarm bell I had. A compound that promised amazing results but hadn't been properly tested for long-term effects. Something that should never have passed initial safety screening. I quietly submitted samples to the FDA and independent labs while watching Amanda and Catherine push forward with their launch plans. They were so focused on pushing me out that they never questioned why I seemed to give up so easily. Rachel's development budget will be reallocated to Wellington Beauty, Catherine announced to the shareholders, pulling me back to the present. Her limited distribution channels will be used for Amanda's luxury line launch. I made a small note on my tablet. 11:45 a.m. CW announces intention to discontinue Pure Science line despite $50 million annual revenue. No safety data presented for new products. Amanda smirked in my direction. Don't worry, Rachel. We'll keep one or two of your products as our basic line for customers who can't afford real luxury skincare. I smiled back, thinking about the FDA report that would arrive in 6 days, about the independent lab tests confirming my suspicions, about the email I'd received that morning from the head of the FDA's Cosmetic Safety Division. Thank you for your concern, I said softly. I'm sure Wellington Beauty will be revealing. Catherine's eyes narrowed at my tone, but she continued outlining their plans to phase out my products. The shareholders listened, seduced by promises of higher margins and luxury pricing. What none of them knew was that I had spent the last 3 months preparing for this moment. Every rushed decision, every skipped safety test, every substituted ingredient, all meticulously documented. The FDA investigation was just the beginning. As I sat there, listening to them dismantle everything I'd built, I thought about the real reason I developed my skincare line. Not for profit or fame, but because I believed people deserved safe, effective products backed by real science. In 6 days, Catherine and Amanda would learn what happens when you prioritize greed over safety, when you mistake someone's quiet patience for weakness. Wednesday's FDA meeting was going to change everything, because sometimes the most powerful response to betrayal isn't immediate retaliation. It's allowing people's own actions to reveal their true nature. And I had a feeling their miracle products were about to reveal quite a lot indeed. The FDA's regional office buzzed with unusual energy that Wednesday morning. Beauty industry reporters clustered in the lobby, drawn by rumors of significant safety concerns about a major cosmetics launch. I spotted Catherine and Amanda arriving, their usual confidence slightly strained around the edges. What is this about? Catherine demanded as I walked past. Why are we being summoned like common manufacturers? I adjusted my lab coat, making sure my FDA consultant badge was visible. I believe Dr. Martinez will explain everything. The conference room was already full when we entered. FDA officials lined one side of the table, their expressions serious. Representatives from the Consumer Safety Board and the American Society for Dermatological Research filled the other seats. At the head of the table sat Dr. Elena Martinez, the FDA's Chief Cosmetic Safety Officer. Mrs. Wellington, Dr. Martinez began, we've called this meeting to discuss serious concerns about your company's new product line, Wellington Beauty, specifically the compound WB254 in your anti-aging serum. Amanda shifted nervously. That's our proprietary formula, which was never properly tested for long-term dermal impact. I interrupted, opening my laptop. Allow me to present our findings. For the next hour, I laid out the evidence, the rushed safety trials, the manipulated test results, the dangerous compounds that have been substituted to cut costs. This molecular structure, I explained, displaying a complex diagram, is remarkably similar to a compound that was banned in Europe last year after causing severe dermal reactions. However, Wellington Beauty's formulators made one small change and declared it a new compound. Catherine's face had gone pale. You have no right to our proprietary information. Actually, Dr. Martinez interjected. Dr. Kim has been working with us as an FDA scientific consultant for the past 3 months. Her concerns about consumer safety triggered a full investigation. I clicked to the next slide. Photos from our long-term testing. These are the results after 60 days of use. Notice the cellular degradation, the compromised skin barrier, the potential for permanent damage. The room fell silent as the images appeared. Even Amanda looked shaken. But our trials showed amazing results, she protested weakly. Your 6-week trials, yes, I agreed. The compound creates an immediate pumping effect by irritating the skin. Users see quick results, but after 2 months, I displayed more photos. The damage begins. Dr. Martinez leaned forward. Mrs. Wellington, did you knowingly attempt to circumvent FDA safety protocols? Of course not. Catherine snapped, but her voice lacked conviction. We followed all required procedures. Really? I pulled up internal emails I'd archived before being pushed out of research and development. Here's a message ordering formulators to expedite testing. Here's another demanding they find alternatives to expensive safety trials. The evidence was damning. Years of corners cut, regulations sidestepped, warnings ignored, all in pursuit of profit. Pure Radiance has two options, Dr. Martinez announced. Immediate recall of all Wellington Beauty products and full cooperation with our investigation, or we begin criminal proceedings for willful endangerment of consumer safety. Catherine's carefully maintained facade cracked. You planned this, she hissed at me. You've been plotting to destroy us. No, I said quietly. I've been protecting people from dangerous products. It's what I've always done. The next few hours were a blur of legal discussions and regulatory requirements. Pure Radiance's stock plunged as news of the FDA intervention spread. By evening, Catherine and Amanda had been suspended by the board pending investigation. But the real surprise came the next morning. The board has voted unanimously, announced Jonathan Chen, our lead director. Dr. Kim will assume the role of CEO, effective immediately. Her commitment to product safety and scientific integrity is exactly what Pure Radiance needs to rebuild trust. I thought about declining, about walking away from the family drama. But then I remembered why I'd started this journey, not for power or revenge, but to create safe, effective skincare backed by real science. The transformation of Pure Radiance took time. We pulled all Wellington Beauty products before they could harm anyone. My original Pure Science line became our focus again, expanded with new formulations that underwent rigorous safety testing. Catherine and Amanda faced their own reckonings. The FDA investigation led to significant fines and a ban from serving in any cosmetics company leadership for 5 years. The last I heard, they'd moved to Europe, trying to rebuild their reputations. Michael and I had our own challenges to work through. He'd been caught between loyalty to his mother and support for his wife, but ultimately stood by my decision to prioritize consumer safety over family politics. You know what amazes me? He said one evening as we reviewed plans for our new research facility. Mom and Amanda were so focused on luxury and exclusivity that they forgot what really matters in skincare, making products that actually help people. A year later, I stood in my old lab, now expanded into a state-of-the-art research center. The walls displayed our patents and safety certifications. Young scientists worked at pristine benches, developing new formulations under the strictest safety protocols. Pure Radiance had emerged stronger, our commitment to scientific integrity rebuilding consumer trust. The company was now worth $200 million. But more importantly, we were setting new standards for safety in the beauty industry. Sometimes I think about that boardroom meeting, about Catherine and Amanda's smug certainty as they tried to push me aside. They'd seen my quiet focus on research as weakness, my insistence on safety protocols as lack of business acumen. They never understood that in the beauty industry, true success comes from something more fundamental than luxury packaging or marketing hype. It comes from creating products that actually work, that help people feel confident in their own skin, safely. As I walk through our labs now, watching young researchers develop new formulations with the same passion for science that drove me, I think about how different things could have been. If Catherine and Amanda had channeled their ambition into creating safe, effective products instead of chasing quick profits, we might have built something remarkable together. But sometimes the most valuable lessons come from watching others' mistakes. Their betrayal taught me that in the end, integrity isn't just about doing what's right. It's about creating something that lasts. Because real beauty isn't about quick fixes or miracle promises, it's about patience, science, and an unwavering commitment to helping people feel naturally beautiful. And that's a formula no amount of luxury marketing can replicate.